guys, it's your girl Sherri, and I want to welcome you to another episode of the Say That Sherri podcast. And with me on today is the most phenomenal, most wonderful, most gracious co-host, Miss Jennifer.
I'm gonna start introducing you with all of that fabulous stuff that you just said. Because I just be sitting here like, okay.
I got the mic. You are fabulous.
Thank
and
you.
you are wonderful. I love my Jen.
I love doing this with you.
Yes,
so you know.
I love doing it with you too. Did you enjoy your birthday?
I did. And I was totally taken by surprise by what my husband did. Like, I knew we were going to celebrate.
Okay.
But I didn't know he had, like, a photographer that had a drone flying over my house. Like, I had a bartender,
what?
a DJ. We had my brother-in-law who caters. He catered the whole event. Everybody was, like, raving over the food. If I'm not mistaken, I seen Carson get 3 plates.
Listen, he FaceTimed me at the party. Guys, I could not make it to her birthday party, and I felt so bad because I had to take my baby to DC and get her settled up at school.
I know
you know what I'm
me.
saying? Yes, I do. So I was so distraught. But he did call me in with the win on the FaceTime. Okay, I seen y'all get a dance in and everything. I was like, okay.
I had an amazing time.
It looked like it was an amazing time. I was just looking at these kids like, y'all made me mess up for everything. Let me tell everything because of you. Like,
that's real.
You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes you do feel like that. But overall, I feel like I had a great birthday. I think it was an amazing way to start 40.
Amen.
And
are you in the 40 club now?
I'm in the 40 club now. That's crazy.
Not scared. You look wonderful. Yes.
Yeah, but I had a great time. So thank you. I had an amazing time.
Well, I'm glad you did. You are so deserving of it.
Thank you.
Okay. And shout out to Matrice because he is the bomb.com. You know what I'm saying? You did that, bro. You did that. Big shout out. Big shout out. He did.
Okay. So I got an icebreaker.
Okay.
Tell me about a moment in your life that you would love to relive.
A moment in my life that I would love to relive. Moment in my life I would love to relive. When I got married to Elle.
Okay.
Yeah. I think our wedding day. That was a good day to relive.
So, like, everybody, I feel like a lot of people would say, like, oh, my wedding was amazing, right? Clearly it was your wedding, so I know why it's special. But why would you want to relive it over and over? Or why would you want to relive it in general? Not over and over again, just in general.
Why would I want to relive it?
Yeah.
It was just a good day. And it meant so much more to I think he and I than just us getting married. Right? It just meant so much more to us than that. It was the meaning of the marriage that we had at this point and the meaning of our relationship, I think. And the fact that we cut a covenant and we just took our bond to a whole nother level. And I think that's why.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because it was a good day. It was like everything. I mean, God just blessed that day.
Yeah.
You know how it's like some stuff would just be this and that. My mama probably wouldn't say that because she was behind the scenes and the power had went out at her house and we was having like the reception there because I did everything a la carte at her house. And so the caterers was there making food. They was setting up this and that. So she was having a panic attack. You know what I'm saying? I ain't know about it. So she called me on the phone and was like, Sherri, this is that and the other is happening. I was like, Ma, listen, if we got to stop and get chicken and a Kroger cake, we going to be all right. Do you understand what I'm saying? I was like, as long as we feed these people, I said, because our wedding was rather intimate, everything else. I was like, we fine. We going to be all right. And she was like, you're so calm about this.
You said chicken and a Kroger cake.
Yeah.
Them cakes be good.
You do? That's what I said. We get some chicken and a Kroger cake, we'll be all right. Like it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. Even though that's not what happened at all. Okay. I mean, it all worked out very beautifully and everything else. But that was just attitude. Because my thing was this. Listen, long as I become Mrs. Pickett today, I don't care about nothing else.
Yeah.
It was like, and I think brides should do that more. Like, you know what I'm saying? They went turned into so much bridezillas. They're like, I need everything to be perfect. Why? The mission is, did you become Mrs. whomever Mrs. you trying to become?
Right.
Was the bond sealed?
Right. That's because we focus on the wedding too much.
Did the officiator of the ceremony show up? They signed the marriage license in the name of Jesus. Everything else gonna fall into place. Even if it's like, you know what? Get your clothes, y'all. Where we going to party at?
Right.
Everybody to the casino. We about to go eat.
Right. Right.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, if you take that attitude about it, it's like, what we gonna do?
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? When this comes the day of everything else, first of all, like, what we gonna do?
Right.
It's the day of. We gonna do everything the best way we can. I'm like, listen, all else fails, order some KFC. They got good sides.
Get that marble cake.
Get that marble cake from Kroger. You know what I'm saying? We're going to pick up some Fagos. And we're going to be all right. You know what I'm saying? Like, quit playing with me.
Okay, well, that's good. So
all my bougie people, we'll go to the Mediterranean spot, get y'all some salads, get you some falafels. And we're going to be okay. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Well, that's good. Because I know a lot of people put a lot of emphasis on their wedding. So I just wanted to know the story or the back as to why you would do that again.
Yeah.
That was,
I just think because it was just a good day.
Yeah.
That was all.
Okay, well, since we're talking about love and marriage and stuff like that, I kind of want to switch gears a little bit.
Okay.
And talk about sometimes the tough stuff. Not too tough, but sometimes tough. And talk about being checked out in our relationships and in our marriage.
Being checked out.
Because disconnections can happen. They happen whether we address them or not. You can feel them.
Yeah. That's true.
Feel them.
That's true.
So do you think it is the responsibility of, well, I'm going to just dig in.
Go ahead.
That it's the responsibility of each other as a union to acknowledge or bring it up when they're feeling checked out or when the other person is checked out? Well, or do you just let it ride? Because sometimes those waves happen, you know?
Well, yes. Everything has or deserves a conversation when it's affecting the unit negatively. Everything.
Everything deserves a conversation. If it's bothering you,
it deserves a conversation.
What if it's bothering me from my ego, though?
It still may deserve a conversation.
Okay.
And the reason why I say that is because even if it's bothering you from your ego, it's bothering you to the point to where it's going to bother him.
Okay.
Right?
I'm with you.
Because you can't keep your emotions in check when something is bothering you. Right? If it's bothering you, everybody going to know that you bothered.
Oh, yeah.
And especially him.
Because I ain't slammed that door.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, I do.
You know what I'm saying? I ain't right. I ain't just throw the bag in the car. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying?
No, you're right.
He ain't ask you what you wanted and you like, you don't know what I want by now?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
so everything deserves to be acknowledged.
Everything deserves to be acknowledged. If it's bothering you, if it's bothering you to the point it's affecting your mood, your attitude, how you're getting along, how you talking, yeah, okay, so what's really wrong?
Yeah.
What's the problem?
Yeah.
And if it's something that you're insecure about, it's your ego, it's something that you're conjuring up in your mind, maybe a conversation could help bring that to realization for you.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So
that's
maybe,
good.
So that's why I say everything deserves a conversation, because you could say something or you can ask him something and he might say, well, what gave you that idea? Well, when I called, you didn't answer. And then when you did call me back, you really wasn't where you told me you were going to be. And he said, yeah, well, plans changed. You know what I'm saying? I didn't get a chance to call you. My phone was constantly ringing. You know what I'm saying? So, I like to call you when I got time to talk. So I didn't get a chance to talk to you and run down to you that the plan had changed. My fault. But where did you get in thinking that, you know what I'm saying, I was doing something I wasn't supposed to be doing? You feel what I'm saying? So sometimes just talking certain things out, and I'm just giving that as an example, but sometimes talking certain things out make you go, well, I ain't think about it like that. You know what I'm saying? Because if he's thinking, like, you know what I'm saying? Because you think about it like this. sometimes you get busy.
Yes.
And you don't have time to check in and change this and change that, right? You don't want him to think that you're doing anything you're not supposed to be doing. That's not the seed you trying to plant in your husband.
True.
Right? So why would you just think that's the seed he's trying to plant in his wife? Especially if y'all don't have that type of situation.
Yeah.
Right? But you looking at your friends and what they go through in their relationships sometimes. You looking at things that society tells you. You looking at marriages you thought was good and they were prospering and then they're breaking down. So now you looking at your own marriage like, dang, you know, she said that her husband hid his affair for 3 years.
So this is kind of leading me into where I
Go ahead.
this could be part of the answer because I feel like it could be some of the causes. But like when you think about moments of disconnection in partnership and in marriage, where do you think they start from? Like, do you think they start from small things or it's like a big thing? Because you think about what you just said, like, oh, her husband hid his affair for 3 years, or is it that, you know, he brings home food and they'll never bring me none? You know what I mean? Like, is it small things or is it big thing? How do those disconnections like start?
I believe they start with the small things that you don't say bothers you for real.
Okay.
So to clarify that, I'll say this. It's things sometimes that our mates do that annoy us a little bit, or they give us a little pause for concern, or bother.
My husband never does anything.
The lies you tell.
My husband. I love you, boo. No, for real. Okay.
I love mine too. He's my best friend because he annoys me as well. He get on my nerve like a big brother sometimes. I'll be like, oh my God, I want to punch you.
Okay, I took this off.
It's okay. But a lot of times our disconnect comes from the small things that we don't say.
Yes.
Right? That we kind of let fester into big things. And it's like, why don't you just say, hey, that bothers me? You feel what I'm saying? That kind of gets on my nerves a little bit, that I can't talk to you about certain stuff. You know what I mean? Without you getting mad or without you getting upset or without, you know what I mean? I'm not always going to pick the best time to talk to you about money. Right?
Yep.
So, yeah. And I don't know when to approach you about it because whether I approach you in the morning or at night, you still mad.
Yeah.
Whether I approach you on Saturday or I approach you on Wednesday, you still mad. So when is there a good time for us to discuss this? Yeah. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. So we have to, you gotta be able to talk about some things that just kind of bothers you a little bit, I think, within the relationship, and talk about this stuff early on or talk about it when it's first starting to surface itself.
Why do you think we don't talk about the small stuff?
A lot of times because, well, I know with women, I can't necessarily speak for men, right? But from a woman's standpoint is that, one, we try not to rock the boat on silly stuff, right? If we got a guy and he's like 80 to 90% of everything that we're looking for, and we're trying to grow in this relationship and we're trying to build on something, all the little stuff that he's doing and getting up under our skin, we don't want to seem nagging. So we don't say nothing. We just kind of let it ride. But are you letting it ride to the point to where it's not bothering you, or you're letting it ride to where you point, it's like you're saving it for later? Because you can't be saving stuff for later. That's what turns them little things into really, really big things.
That's how men will start conversations and be like, we was talking about this, and then she brought up something that happened 2 years ago.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And he be sitting there going, I didn't even know you was mad about that. Yeah. And she'd be like, well, yes, I was very upset about it. And he's like, well, you was holding it for this long? You know, I mean, that's one thing I kind of give men credit for. You know,
you don't think they do that?
Most of the time, no, men tell you exactly what the heck on their mind. When they agitated about something, when they mad about something, you know it.
That's true.
And half the time when you know them really well, you know what they mad and agitated about. Yep. Even if they don't say nothing. You be like, he mad as heck at me. He ain't gonna say nothing, no. Lord, he gonna say, he just sit there, you know, because my husband, he has his gestures. So I know when I done got on his nerves. This right here.
Oh, he get the rub.
Oh, Jesus. I know I done worked every last nerve he got. I done like, I done done it now. He like, this woman right here,
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. So I know certain things. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah. And then he'll go to asking me certain questions first thing in the morning. So
What did you really think?
no. He starts it off subtle. See, I can tell from the line of questioning
Where it's going.
he's baiting me for what he really, really wants. So, how'd you sleep? I slept good. You got a busy day today? And I'd be like, well, I got kind of a couple, 2, 3 things I got to do. I'm a little busy. You know what I'm saying? You're like, oh, okay. Well, so, I was thinking. And I'll be like, here we go. What was we thinking, Jesus? He don't just come in and be like, it's, especially if this is something that's been on his mind for a minute. He been trying to find out which way to get to me. He like,
But he's going to say something.
Yeah, I made that evident. Okay, so what I found was when we were dating, his communication wasn't the greatest. Okay, when we first started dating, right? He would hold a lot more things in. So I had to deprogram that and say, listen, we gonna be together. I don't care if you cuss me out. I'd rather you get it out than keep it in, right? Tell me what's on your mind. Tell me how you feel. It's okay. So when people come and they say certain things to me about something my husband might have said, it's never a shock to me because typically it's already something he done said to me. He might be venting to you about it, but he done already told me in some form of fashion. I already know. Because I made it clear that I don't care if you frustrated. I don't care if you aggravated about something. Just let me know. Give me time to correct it. Let's talk about it. Let's get through. And even if I don't have a solution right then and there, at least I know that this is something that's on your mind. So it's something that we need to talk about and keep our communication open about, right? I may have to shelf it for a moment because I'm like, I gotta figure out how to answer him on this, or I got to figure out what the solution is because he's coming to me because he's bothered by something, right? So he's looking for me to have an answer. He's looking for me to have a solution, and I may not have one. So if I don't have one, that doesn't mean that I get mad at him and shun him off, or I try not to talk about something. It just means, okay, well, babe, I don't know how you want me to answer that right now. Let me pray about it. Let me work it over for a little while. And maybe God will give us a solution to what you're bothered by.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So but I say all that to say that I had to make him improve upon the communication. I had to tell him, like, it's better for us to talk about it than not talk about it. Because Lord knows I don't want you holding on to nothing. Right? I'd rather you get it off your chest. I'd rather you say what we got to say, and even if we got to go to our respective corners, at least we've discussed it. Even if we don't, and sometimes you're going to have to agree to disagree.
Okay, that's what's going to be my next thing too, because when you bring up like, okay, like I'm feeling this way, or I feel like there's a disconnect. I feel like you kind of checked out in this regard on me. And then if they meet you with, what are you talking about? They like literally oblivious, and or they just do not agree with you.
Okay, so typically though, when the relationship is having a disconnect, y'all both can feel it. Even if the other person doesn't want to admit that. So they might play like, I don't know what you're talking about. There's nothing wrong. I mean, I'm straight. Like, what's wrong? You like, okay. So if that's the case, make note to yourself. Okay, so he's been disconnected. He's in denial. So what you do at that point then is just say, okay, you know what? The next time you do something that makes me feel like we're disconnected, I'm going to point it out to you immediately. So that way he knows and say, listen, I'm going to do it so you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And so when they do it to you, like, it might be something like, hey, you want to sit and watch a movie? You know what I mean? And it's like, normally he'd be like, well, yeah, let's do that. If he be like, nah, I'm straight, we're going to do it. Say, well, this is what I'm talking about. Where our little me time at? This is the disconnect I'm speaking of. And like, again, that's just an example. So those are things like you can kind of bring to somebody's attention, or when it becomes certain topics that make y'all not on the same page, right? That's uncomfortable for y'all to talk about. So you say, hey, can we discuss X, Y, and Z? No, I still don't feel like talking about that. Say, see, this is where our disconnect is coming at. We got to tackle this at one point in time. The idea, though, too, is not to say all of this with an attitude. I'm going to just say that right there.
What you mean?
You know what I mean? We hair rolling, popping. I mean, what you mean you don't want to talk about it right now? Why we can't talk about it right now?
That's what I'm talking about, right there.
Right there. That's what I'm talking about. See what I'm saying?
Because it be like that.
Right. But what does that do? See, that now, what you meant to be a discussion just became an argument.
Yeah.
And the first thing he gonna say is, I ain't trying to argue with you. I don't want to argue with you.
Yeah.
This is the reason why I don't want to talk about it, because it's gonna turn to no, what we arguing about is the fact that you don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
No, what we arguing about is the fact that you got a temper problem. And if I go to talking about this, your temper gonna rise, it's gonna start something, and I don't want to argue with you, woman.
Yeah.
And so it's like, you just trying to deflect.
Because that's all I got at this point.
Right. You know what I'm saying? You just trying to deflect. But really and truthfully, you coming with the hostility.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Versus saying, well, babe, I don't really want to talk about it. You never think that if you come with the point of view, say, listen, I know this topic usually gets me a little disgruntled and a little out of sorts, but I'm willing to be open-minded now and hear your side. See, if you come at him with that, with all defenses down, that he might be a little bit more receptive to say, okay, well, let's talk about it. Now, if you start to shift in the conversation, just listen, you got to put in your mind, though, if I start to get heated, we should just end the conversation. If I start to get heated, don't worry about him. Because, see, you know, you know how his voice might go up 2 octaves. Why you sway?
It's getting hot in here, y'all.
Because if his voice go up 2 octaves, yours going to go up 3. So... That's what I say. You got to tell yourself. Listen, I'm trying to tell us, ladies, how to prepare ourselves. Mm-hmm. All right?
Okay.
Talk about you.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, we're all adults.
Yes.
And you can't make anybody do anything.
No.
Right? That's the thing that women lie to themselves about. I can change him. I can make him. I can rearrange him.
Right.
I can make him. I can do. I.
What you can do
can
is give yourself a headache.
And girl, you're gonna aggravate your life.
Yes.
So the only thing you can do and what you do have control of is you.
Yeah.
So if you come from a place of, babe, I know that us finding a new home is an uncomfortable conversation for you, but it's something we kind of need to talk about. Where we at financially, what our bills look like, what our money look like. We need to discuss all this. Where do you see yourself in your career? Where am I at in my career? Can we honestly make this move together? Do we need to wait a while? I just want to get the game plan together. You feel what I'm saying? Okay. I just want us to put a vision together on how this should look for us, what goals we need to take, what steps we need to do. And we can't do that unless we have a conversation. And I know the conversation is uncomfortable because you don't want to discuss this with me. You don't want to talk about credit card bills. You don't want to talk. Hey, but this got to be a conversation that we got to be had. So now you, as a person that initiated the conversation, because you know y'all got to discuss it, right? And men, I say this because I'm going to put a disclaimer out there too, because sometimes it's not the women. It's not the man, it's the woman.
Yeah.
And so men, it's the same thing. Honey, I know this is an uncomfortable conversation for you, but we need to discuss this stuff. Yeah. Like, I need to know where we at, where you see us at, so I'll know what to do. And if you go in with it with love, and then if you get aggravated at their answers or their standoffish behavior in the conversation or their lack of interest even, because it's hard to talk to somebody when they doing this.
Yeah.
Like, is he scrolling through the phone? While I'm talking to him?
Did you even hear?
That's
what's gonna make me be like, okay.
So what I do is this: when he does this to me, that right there,
yeah,
I said, we'll talk about it when you're not busy.
Okay.
And he be like, I'm not busy, I'm listening, because my husband swears he can multitask.
They can't. I'm sorry.
I'm just gonna look at
y'all can't.
Y'all swear y'all can
so
multitask.
Sorry, y'all.
Y'all swear y'all can look at the phone, play a game, check the sports scores, all the above, and still listen to me. You're only getting about 30% of what I say anyway, because y'all attention span is not the same, Jesus. So I'm just, okay. So that being said, when he acts like that on something that I need him to pay attention on, right? Because men will swear you didn't tell them something.
Yeah.
That I know I told you, right? But that's only because you listen to 30% of what I'm saying. So when I need your undivided attention, I say, well, I'll wait till you less busy. And then he'll go, no, I'm paying attention. Well, you can't pay attention to me if you in the phone.
Well, let me say this to you, Sherri, because you have a very mature way to communicate. But I feel like there are a lot of people operating in their relationships and in their marriage who believe that they are amazing communicators. And there is like maybe some manipulation behind the communication, or there's some hostility behind it. Like, there's a way to say everything. I tell my kids this too.
Yeah,
like,
it is.
You can say anything to me.
Yep.
If it's said the right way.
Facts.
But not a lot of people operate in that space though. So I think that when I hear you talking about how you can communicate, I think that it's mature and it's so you. I don't think a lot of people really
Send them an email.
Okay.
If you can't verbally talk
without getting yourself all riled up,
or you feel like you can't talk to your partner without them they can't control themselves. There's gonna be an argument. They're gonna throw stuff. Send them an email.
They're gonna throw stuff.
Send them a text message. I'm serious. Because that's what a lot of that's what some of these arguments turn into.
Yeah.
You be like, dude, I asked her what she wanted for dinner, and you know what I'm saying? Next little pots went to flying, shoes went to flying. You be like, well, what did you cook?
Yes. That's that disconnection.
Right. You know what I'm saying? And it's really, it don't be even about dinner. It'd be something totally different, right? But that's where the communication gets off. See, you got to understand, the enemy hates marriage. Right? He hates covenants. Okay. So marriage is a covenant, right? So he wants to break said covenant. So how does he break said covenant? With discord, right? We can't talk about certain stuff. We can't discuss certain stuff. One person's checked out of the conversation. Another person, it's all ways and tricks of the enemy to keep us off. Right? Off of one another, off of our goals, off of the elevation, off of where we're supposed to be going. Yeah. If we can stay in discord, right, then we stay stagnated. Yeah. We stay broke. Yeah. We stay broken. We stay unfulfilled. Yeah. Then we start seeking other places to get other things and bring them into the marriage, right? We think we want to be swingers. We think I'm just saying. Ooh. People keep thinking they're going to get fulfilled all these different ways, right? We get boyfriends, we get girlfriends, we get this, we get that. I mean, these are all things, and it only comes from a matter of lack of communication and unfulfillment. And if we're feeling unfulfilled with our partner, and we feel like our partner just is not doing it, this is not who you feel you can grow with, elevate with. You feel like, God got a different purpose and a plan for you. Yeah. This ain't it, blah, 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 blah. If that's the case, they made a thing called divorce. Yeah. They did. And I know people don't like to look at that word and everything else. And it's like, well, Sherri said again, I don't believe you should stay in anything or any situation that you feel like you yourself can't grow from, produce in, operate in, love in, forgive in, trust in, and move in. Yeah. What is you talking about? You can't do that? So if you can't do it, that means he got you what? Stagnated. Right? In your mental, in your heart, in your mouth. You feel what I'm saying? Because you speaking things that you shouldn't be speaking. Yeah. You saying things you shouldn't be saying. You can't even control your temper. Yeah. Okay. You can't even govern yourself. So if you're in a relationship where you can't govern yourself, you feel what I'm saying? Somebody going to jail, what we doing? Yeah. This is not productive.
No, you're right. Okay. I get it. I understand. Okay, so 3 things that you think we could do in our relationships and marriages to close the gap of disconnection, if there is one.
We have to pray together.
That's big.
We got to pray together because we got to be knowing we praying for the same thing.
Yeah, that's a big one. Yeah.
Right? Right? So we got to pray together. We got to set aside time to talk about the difficult things. It's cool to do all the fun stuff. Yeah. It's cool to do all the stuff we love to do. It's cool to play footsies in the sand. Right. It's cool to go, you know what I'm saying, and do all the things, oh, he's so great at this, that, and the other. But what about when the stuff is difficult? Yeah. When this stuff is hard for us to talk about. Yeah. This is hard for us to get on. This is thing. And if you can't talk about it with each other, counseling is always there. I encourage counseling.
Right. I do too.
I encourage it. I think it's needed.
Yeah.
People's mental health, people's emotional state, and everything. Yes, I believe wholeheartedly that communication is all the way around key.
Yeah.
Period. So I think that in communicating and being on the same page, seek counseling. Right? Whether if it's from your spiritual leaders, whether it's from an actual marriage counselor or whomever, but get to a point to where y'all are doing some individual counseling and doing some couples counseling, right? Because it's something that's blocking him and it's something that's blocking you.
Right.
Right? So get together on that notion and don't think that it's all one person. Because we're a lot one-sided in our sight, right?
Yeah.
If my husband's acting a certain type of way, I check myself and be like, okay, what am I doing? Am I acting out of order in some ways? Am I doing some stuff to kind of aggravate this situation a little bit? Am I not being as patient with him as I should be being in this particular season? I start with me first.
Okay.
I start with me first. And then sometimes it's just as simple as, am I being understanding enough to what he going through?
Right.
Because, see, sometimes we're not sympathetic enough to what our partners is going through,
Yeah.
especially our men, right? They got the weight of the world on their shoulders just like we carry the weight of the world on our shoulders,
100%
right?
Yeah.
And when they're loving men, when they're family men, when they got the, when they're providers and they're trying to do everything they can to make stuff happen, you feel what I'm saying? And sometimes things aren't falling into place or things aren't happening the way they want them to. It frustrates him. So what's even more frustrating to him? To have you fussing and complaining and him dealing with the outside world, or somewhere in here you got to go, okay, I got to back off. This one, I got to go into prayer more for him. This one, I got to be more supportive to him. This is where I got to be more understanding. Yeah, he's snapping at me. He's snapping at me because that deal didn't close.
Right.
Right?
It ain't you.
It ain't me.
Right.
Right? He's snapping at me because stuff is not flowing the way he wanted to flow.
Yeah.
Right? But he need me interceding. Because it's not flowing because we not on the same page, right? We not flowing because my spirit a little bit off. I'm aggravated. I'm frustrated. I'm disgruntled. And he can feel when I'm that way. So since he can feel where I'm that way, that's doing nothing but making him uneasy. Because why? He feels he's the fault of my discomfort. He feels he's the fault of my frustration. He feels he's the fault of my worry and my stress.
Yeah.
And he ain't trying to do that. He trying to love and provide and protect. Right? So why would he want to frustrate me? Why would he want me worried? Why would he want me scared? Why would he want me concerned about paying this and doing that? He doesn't.
Right. Yeah.
He doesn't want that.
You're right.
So if he doesn't want that, that means that at this point he's concerned now. And he's frustrated because my wife is frustrated. He's worried because my wife is worried. He's stressed because my wife is stressed. Versus you saying, God is good. It's going to be all right. We're going to be fine. If all this go away and we got to start all over, long as I got you and you got me, baby, we good. We're going to put God in the forefront. And if he make us give it up, it's only because he about to give us something greater.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying?
Okay.
I ain't scared to lose nothing.
Okay. So.
Material.
Yep. I got you.
I'm not scared to lose nothing material.
So we got to communicate through it all. Even when it's uncomfortable. Okay.
We got to communicate through it all.
You always, give me the best to do. So I appreciate that. I have nothing else.
You have nothing else?
I have nothing else.
Amen.
Nothing that I want to bring up now. I got some stuff for later.
Oh.
Another.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
That's it.
Okay. So just remember, guys, if one of the mates is checked out, if they're not communicating right, everything else, start with you. And then implement some things that'll bring y'all closer together. Whether if it's y'all need to spend quality time, let's just pray together, right? Let's talk about some things that bothers us. And then if you guys are not on the same page where y'all communicate with that effectively, just know when to cut the conversation off before things get too heated. So you know what? It's okay. We'll table it for now. And just don't do it with an attitude of disgruntledness. Do it with a positive attitude. Do it with some love behind it. I promise you, if you pray before you go into the hard conversations become easy. Amen? Amen. All right, guys, that is our show for today. Again, thank y'all for joining us. Thank y'all for tuning in. Go over to the YouTube page, like, subscribe, comment. Make sure y'all follow us on all social media platforms. We thank you to all our followers. We truly, truly love you. Don't forget to help me bless a business. Drop comments, drop businesses, everything into my DM. We always checking them. We always looking out for y'all. So we absolutely love y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. Y'all have a prosperous, blessed week. Don't forget to love on somebody. Peace. Amen.